We always label Friday a Feel Good Friday, and there is nothing better to feel good than talking to our next guest. He is the one, the only. He is one of the real dudes, the one of the great ones. Good friend Harrison Phillips joins us now. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys?
Good. Hey, I have to start with this. So, I've known you for a while. We've known each other for a while, and Harrison's Playmakers is an absolute banger in what you do. But I don't know how you do this. So you're getting ready. You're cranking it up for the offseason for your seventh year in the NFL and doing great stuff with the Vikings coming off last year. You just went on a delayed honeymoon with your wife, Shay. You're doing your Harrison's Playmakers. You've got all this stuff going on. And then you're in Washington County helping with the tornado cleanup. How do you do all of this? And this is an honest question, Harrison. You give so much back and you have so much going on, and you're a professional athlete, and you're helping out with the tornado victims. How do you do all of this?
Man, I appreciate that, man. You guys know I don't really enjoy to talk about myself, but um, look, a Rolling Stone collects no moss, and I'm a firm believer that we all have 24 hours in the day, and you have to take advantage of every single one of those minutes. And so I do keep myself busy. Um, there's a funny saying that says, why do you keep hitting yourself over and over again in the head with a hammer? And the man replies, because it will feel so good when I stop. And so I keep myself extremely busy. And, I only have this platform as an NFL football player for so long. I've seen retired players who have similar passions and similar causes. And unfortunately, when you're not still having the shield on you physically, when your day, when you no longer get to play the sport, it's just not as easy, I feel like, to be passionate and to do the great things and raise awareness for the causes that you care so much about. So, you mentioned, going back and serving over in Washington County and in Elkhorn and stuff. And funny enough, I'm in Washington, D.C. With 15 kids from Minneapolis who are handing out scholarships too, and going to the Museum of African American History and Culture here in about 20 minutes.
That's awesome, Harrison. And I know you would have rather been spending your time not only getting ready for a season, but also, opening up the new sports training facility in Omaha. But hey, good on you. You're the area that means so much to you, and especially in the West Omaha area, it's hit by tornadoes. Can you tell us about some of the efforts that you and just your organization has been able to help out in the relief efforts with everybody impacted by the tornadoes?
Yeah, so aside from me physically being able to go there and shake hands with some families and hug families and physically help move debris and things like that, just like the thousands and thousands of amazing Nebraskans have done over the past week or so, 2 weeks, I guess, coming up. And aside from that effort, I partnered up with the Salvation Army and the Omaha Rapid Response, who are, you guys know, is kind of some of the first boots in the ground who've been really helping move the needle on this catastrophe. And I'm working with the NFL right now to put up an NFL auction where we will auction off a jersey that I'll sign and personalize right up to it, whatever you want me to write on it, and some game used cleats actually from the My Cause My Cleats games that I played in these last few years. And so all the money that's going to be raised through that will go directly to either the Salvation Army or the Omaha Rapid Response. And so you can go to my website, harrisonsplaymakers.org. If you click the donate link, anything that is donated in the entire month of May, we're going to include as a donation for this effort. So if people want to give monetarily, you can give to my foundation. We can do it through the NFL auction and get yourself a chance to win some cool signed items.
Hey, you've got a huge heart, and there's a lot of people that like to tell you their stories, and you help them out so much with your foundation. What were some of the stories you heard while you're out, you're trading cleats for a chainsaw, and people see you, you are well known in this community, and they want to talk to you and tell the stories of what they just went through? How did that impact you?
It impacted me pretty deeply. But I'm gonna tell you one thing that is my honest truth is you almost can't get yourself there mentally, right? I can step into this. I'm standing on a concrete slab where a home used to stand, where a crib used to be, where a bedroom used to be. I see complete destruction. I'm with a family, but I can't I can't physically feel what that would be. I try to think about what would it be like if I came to my home and there wasn't one there. And it's devastating. It's sad, but I don't even think that touches what the feeling these families had. And so most specifically, I think some of the stories that touched home the most was a husband who left to go pick up his two children, and he's driving home. He's at the top of his street, and he is watching as his wife is in the house alone and watching as the tornado rips the house apart. I mean, that hopelessness of knowing that the woman that you love more, I put myself in his shoes, thinking about my wife in my home as I'm sitting at the top of my hill in a car, just having to park because the tornado is ripping through my house, ripping it apart piece by piece. And then that panic to drive down to that home and get out of your car and to run into where your front door used to be to hope that your wife is alive in that basement. Thank God she was. And another story that resonated with me was a woman, a grandmother. They called her Grandma Tammy, and her daughter and her granddaughters were there helping her clean up her home, which is ruined enough over in Elkhorn that they were just flattening it with a bulldozer and forklift type stuff. And she was sitting in tears because yes, there's insurance and yes, there's some things, but when that home was bought in 1978 for that listing price, that family never increased the premiums and the value of the home. And so sure, she'll get some insurance money on what that home, what the policy she had in place was. And for that amount of money, she'll never own a home again for the rest of her life. And so to see that woman who was in this house for, was that 50 years or 45 years, to have her, kind of crying, consoling her and knowing that she'll never have a home to herself for the rest of her life because of the financial differences between what a home price would be nowadays. I mean, those are just a few of the stories of the hundreds of families that I touched. And like I said, you want to empathize, you want to try to put yourself in their position, and you should try. But even trying, I don't think we can even sniff it.
Well, and for your foundation, the pillars, inclusion, kindness, community, this is obviously community, this kindness, inclusion, it's all of that. And the one thing that when we see people on your platform from this state, when it does come to you answering the call and no one's making you do this out of the kindness of your heart, Harrison. And again, we all appreciate it. The part of the community where, and Gary and I have talked about this too, where people have shown up to volunteer and are actually being turned away, which is such a good thing. Through all of those heartbreaking stories, you're also inundated with the amount of support that this state continues to show its fellow residents in moments like this. And I know for you, who's seen so many different places in the country with the sport that you play and love, that's got to be a sense of pride, even through tragedy like this.
Oh my gosh, 1,000%. When I had got there originally, and I can't even find on a Saturday, I can't even find a place to park at the organization, Omaha Rapid Response, where you can go and volunteer. I couldn't even find a place to park because there's so many people volunteering, and they didn't even know that, they didn't let people know ahead of time that I was going to be there. It had nothing to do with me. It had to do with people are free on their Saturdays, just finished a 40, 50-hour work week, and they said, hey, what can I go do bright and early in the morning on a Saturday? And, as a man of faith, I always try to figure out where God's thumbprint is in a lot of this stuff. And when you sit and see the damage and destruction, you guys obviously know what it looks like. To then look at that and to realize there wasn't a single death in Nebraska, from what I heard, right? That he's obviously involved there, but you still say, well, why are you doing this? Why are you wiping away all this thing? And when you go back and read a lot of the things in the Bible, you will find it that, God often just tries to create order out of chaos. You go all the way back to Exodus, where Moses is doing all these different plagues, and early on the Pharaoh says that, like, oh, tricksters can do this and magicians can do this, but what the magicians can do, they can cause chaos, but they can't create the order. And so I think that God used our community as an example to create chaos, and then the people that he's using to make order out of it. It really restores faith in humanity, and it really makes me proud of where I'm from.
And from Millard West here in Omaha, now defensive tackle for the Minnesota Vikings. You mentioned you're in D.C., and I'm pretty sure that's the trip with Project Success that the Vikings are involved with. You're involved with the Twin Cities area high school students that you take to D.C. You mentioned you're going to the National Museum of African American History and Culture. It's not the first time you've been there, but why does that place bring a man like yourself to nearly tears when you take the tour of that fantastic museum?
I mean, I think a same thing, very similar to these tornadoes, right? It brings you really, really close to home, to a place where you can empathize as quickly as you can. And so, when you start on the bottom floor of this museum and you're in what they kind of have created as a slave ship, and you're looking at the names of passengers and the number of passengers who, 400 people got on a ship. When they arrived in the United States, only 70 of them survived. They're using the restroom on each other. There's no food. There's disease. And the 330 of them don't even make it to the United States. And what's the reward for when you get here? Oh, we're going to sell you off into slavery. And so, like, that's floor one. We got 4 more floors to go through the history, the decades of American history, of Black American history. And I mean, you can empathize as much. And then the top floor is obviously the coolest thing. And it's a celebration of very successful Black Americans who have, found the American dream and have found success in America. And a lot of sports is involved there. I actually have ties through my wife, Shay, to Jackie Robinson. Her great grandfather played on the Yankees with him. And so there's a huge shrine here for Jackie. And when my wife was here with me the last time I was here, we were able to go see that. And it's just cool. And, for what I do, majority of my locker room is diverse. Mm-hmm. And you want to be able to be as educated on that subject as possible. I mean, we all believe in equality and equal opportunities.
As Gary alluded to, the time that you put into not only your craft, but also giving back, an announcement recently made, and I alluded to this, the training facility that will be open in Omaha that you're going to provide. So where are things going with that? How's everything been moving so far? What can area youth expect when all is said and done?
Yeah, this is something that I am really, really excited about. I've been pitched many gyms in my 7-year career that people want.
I wonder why.
Different, and this isn't to badmouth anything that's going on in Omaha. And I know times have changed in the 12 years or whatever that I've been gone, but it was really difficult for me to figure out what I was supposed to be doing when I was in middle school and high school. You might watch an interview of one football player who's 30 years old saying what he does. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm 11. Should I be doing that? I'm on there Googling workouts of bodybuilders, and I'm 13 years old in a gym saying, "Oh, I'm supposed to lift as heavy as possible." And I was a lot of the high schools in the Omaha area who you guys know, everyone knows how they used to lift back when we were winning those national championships in Nebraska.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they were clean the whole time they were doing it or not, but what they did is they encouraged heavy weight. And so I think I could have taken a year or two off of my career. I might have set myself up for my first ACL tear in college because my high school coaches and trainers that I was using said, put 405 on the bar. I don't care how you get it off of you. I just want to see you do a heavy weight. I want to see you hang clean as much as you can and catch it in compromised positions with bad knee placement, all this stuff, just so we can hype each other up and say, look how big and strong you are. And that's not sport.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, so I've been around all these different places. In Minnesota is where ETS was founded. Adam Thielen, great Pro Bowl receiver, is heavily involved. And we have about 7 or 8 players that own ETSs in their communities. Our Pro Bowl fullback, CJ Ham, Kirk Cousins owns some in Michigan. There's a ton just all growing through Iowa. And so Omaha's been on the market for them. And when I went and visited and I go see the kids, and now that I've been in Minnesota 3 years, I see an 8th grader who's coming in, a female volleyball player who, probably didn't have a chance to even make her varsity team. And now I still go to those same gyms, those same ETSs, and she's now starting and looking for Division I scholarships to play volleyball because of the improvement and individualized plan for her. So this gym is going to teach, foundational functional fitness. It's going to get you faster. It's going to get you stronger, and it's going to get you quicker, not specific to your sport, just specific to athletics, which is how I train. We got one over in Elkhorn right now, right next to the Elkhorn High School on Common Ground. You can go to my Instagram or the Instagram of ETS West Omaha or online to sign up and get some free consultation and stuff like that. But that's where I'm going to be training when I'm back in Omaha. We're hoping to open more locations if the demand is there. And I told this to somebody else. If it operates at a loss and I don't make a single penny, that is fine. If I come back and there's 4, 5, 6 kids that tell me this is what got me to college, this is what helped me accomplish my goal of starting on varsity or whatever, then shoot, I'll consider it philanthropic for me. But I want to create a place where people can come and chase their goals.
Hey, one quick one. We'll get you out of here, and I appreciate it as always anytime you can give us. Let's talk about the Vikings. You had an incredible year last year, 92 tackles. You have defensive coordinator Brian Flores. There's a change. Your Kirk Cousins is gone on the field and off the field. what's the next step for the Vikings, and especially with you coming off that great season last year?
I'll speak for the team first. I think we're excited about the new additions, but we also have some amazing people we brought in free agency. You guys know the battles I had at USC against Sam Darnold. I mean, that guy can play football, and this will be the most complete roster that he's on. I think in an ideal world, Sam Darnold starts, the whole year for us, and we have a young rookie who's able to sit there and watch and learn for an entire year. If I can remember back to Mahomes' first year, I think he only played one game, and that was after they already clinched the playoff
finale,
like that. And so when you're able to just go and learn and be in a room like that with Kevin O'Connell, I mean, that would be an amazing thing for him. Defensively, we had a stretch of football where we were the number one defense in the NFL. We kind of we started late to it, took us 3-4 weeks to figure it out. And towards the end, we kind of got figured out. So we've added a bunch of different pieces to our defense, and their body types that can be tweeners. So you come out, you're trying to game plan against us. Well, hey, I'll just use is Harrison going to be a nose guard lined up straight over the center? Is he going to kick over a guard? Is he going to be over a tackle? And that's with a lot of our people. Is our outside linebacker got his hand in the ground? Is he standing up? Is he going to walk back to middle linebacker? Is our middle backer going to play rover? Do we have a safety that can play nickel? Nickel's play cool. So we can give you multiple different packages, and the element of surprise is going to make it hell on quarterback.
My man, I always appreciate it. You are doing God's work, and it is noticeable, and keep it up. And anytime you have something to tell everybody about what's going on in the community that you're involved in, you know where to come.
Absolutely. You guys do a great job allowing me to share my story with your platform, and love you guys and forever appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, Harrison.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
That's Harrison Phillips.